Is your prostate waking you up more often than your alarm clock? The fact is, the older you get, the more likely you'll have prostate problems, which can affect your everyday life. That's where Prostate Complete by Real Health comes in. Prostate Complete is the result of 20 years of experience as a leader in men's health. The powerful formula in Prostate Complete supports natural prostate function and reduced urinary urges for a better quality of life. Available at Walmart. Visit prostateoneperday.com for special offers. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Went to Mow Kings Meadow, the podcast that follows the fantastic Chelsea FC women's team, especially when they win at the Academy Stadium. I'm your host, Dean, back again, this time joined by Dane. Dane, how you doing?
Yeah, good. My Sunday evenings are never the same now. Podcast with you, getting quite regularly. No more TV with the missus.
An improvement on previous Sundays?
Yeah, it was usually a bit of a come down after a busy weekend, and yeah, you flick through the telly, don't you? 2 hours, you never actually watch something. So yeah, no, it's nice to talk about the got a purpose now. Obviously, watch the women play and talk about how good they usually are.
Yeah, I'm missing strictly the results. Just so the listeners know that the team comes first. Jane is not with us. She is on her way back from Manchester, having been in attendance. As were quite a few of the Chelsea Women's Sports Group who made a lot of noise, so well done to them on Women's Football Weekend, travelling up to Manchester to witness the first win in the league in a long, long time at that stadium. I know fans like Kerry, who's been on the show, have been waiting for that moment, so I'm sure they enjoyed it very well. Then I'll run through the team and we'll sort of talk about what Emma chose to start with. Obviously, Berger in goal, Bright, Carter, Eriksson at the back, Cuthbert, G, Leopold, Wrighton in midfield, Kirby, Jessie Fleming and Sam Kerr up front. Pretty much the team we had on paper in the preview that yourself and Jane did. What did you make of the choices Emma made?
I was a little bit surprised. I thought we'd have Sophie in there just to protect, the wing backs, because going with Cuthbert and Wrighton is attacking, when previously we played in Manchester. We had Carter at right wing back and Wrighton on the left. But, as we saw so many times, we transitioned into a 4 and Jess Carter was the right back and Wrighton still stayed up. So I didn't know if there was an imbalance there. But, yeah, it's nice to see Fleming again. She deserved another start. So I wasn't disappointed. I was a little bit surprised, but I was very admiring of the fact that she, to go with loopholes in G in an away fixture at Manchester City is very attacking and very brave, and obviously had confidence in them and the wing backs and Fleming as well, which as I just said, really good to see Fleming getting another start.
Yeah, it is, and I tweeted before the game that usually when Pernilla Harder's not playing, I'm quite worried about how Chelsea attack because I think she's so important. But the form that Jessie Fleming's in, I'm not feeling that anymore, because I know that Jessie can, provide for the team, and she did, didn't she, on that opening goal inside 2 minutes? That to me is a goal that Pernilla Harder scores. Acknowledging where the opportunity to press is, doing that, winning from the mistake from the Man City goalkeeper, then rounding her and scoring. That reminded me of a Pernilla Harder-esque goal. Yeah,
well, obviously in recent weeks, since Pernille's been out, whether it's been Cuthbert or Fleming up there, they are, if Pernille's playing, you're going to get a goal, you're going to get assist, and that's what Cuthbert and Fleming have been doing. They've been replacing those goals and assists that we might have worried about missing for Pernille. And again, Fleming, I feel sorry for the goal. Well, feel sorry for the goalie to an extent. Poor Otai maybe having still demons or nightmares of last time we played, and caught in possession, a slow pass back out. But when Jessie pounced on it, quite quickly, I had to have a second look. I thought it was Kirby because she looked really fast onto it. And Taib again was, even when she was in the middle of a goal, she was sort of in no woman's no man's land, no woman's land. And yeah, she just tucked it past her with ease. I think it surprised her as well, surprised the whole team. And wow, but if you're going to get, you're silly enough to play it around, we've got, we say all the time, world-class players, and, they will pounce on any mistake and make you pay.
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember the Manchester United men's goalkeeper, Taibbi.
Italian.
He let the shot through his legs. And that's what Taib reminds me of, because their names are quite similar. She must be a Chelsea fan, the amount of goals she was. Having said that, though, the bright start, then it sort of became Manchester City's game, didn't it? And I felt Chelsea really struggled to get a grip of the game and control the game. And is that because of that midfield of G and Leopold's isn't the right balance? Because G's great on the ball with possession, and we didn't have possession. And Leopold's is box to box, and when you've got G, you take that away from her. We really missed Ingle, didn't we?
Yeah. I like Melanie Leopold's box to box play, and if you've got G, behind her, sometimes trying to hold, or in front of her, there can be gaps left. I thought our wing backs were very deep. An imbalance because Manchester City still have dangerous players, and I was worried about that imbalance without Sophie screen of a defence and allowing Melanie to play that box to box role. I thought we was wasteful, lazy passing. It happens. Dean, we've been watching men's football for a long time, and we can always guarantee being at Stamford Bridge after a Champions League week. Midweek and how rusty and how tired players look. So we've seen it, and I was sort of half expecting it. Man City had the week off, we hadn't. A bit of a travel, and it did look like an imbalance, and I didn't expect it to last long. Emma said at half time that she did try to change it in game, but it still didn't work, so that's why she made the changes. No, getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but yeah, we're here. We'll criticize if we will be a bit critical if we think the performance wasn't good enough, but we would be. We're just trying to be honest. This is not a degrading of the players. We know how wonderful we are. We said in midweek, Mia and Jane, but we've got 19 players. Add in Lauren James and Maren Milder to that, 21 players, and they're all capable of playing in that first 11. So they're great. They've walked in so many teams. So it's they just didn't play well in that first half. Simple as that.
Yeah. Having said that, though, I don't really remember Manchester City testing AKB. There was 2 incidents in the half. The first one was a poor piece of defending from Chelsea, and Caroline Weir got through the middle of the defence. Jess Carter stepped out to close some space. Millie didn't tuck around and just left it wide open, and AKB made a very good save with her foot. And then the second one was the cuff back pass that Lauren Hemp got onto. Just before AKB, there was a collision. To me, that's a penalty all day long. What did you make of that incident, Dave?
Yeah, going back to what you said about Man City, they had a lot of the ball, a lot of huff and puffing, but not doing a lot. They kept on trying to lay the same trap where Ellen White would come deep to get the ball, and a lot of times Melanie and Angie was following her, pressing, and that left a gap in between. And Kemp would come in off the wing, Stanway or Weir, and there'd be a lot of space behind. And they tried that trap a few times. It worked, but it didn't obviously lead or progress to anything. Going back to the penalty, she had her shot. Berger saved it, and then Berger kicked her. So you could see why they would be quite upset. Would we be upset? Possibly. It's too fast for the referee. She was in a position she had to bend her head round to see, I think, around Millie Bright. It would have been hard to give it. It would have been harsh, but you can see why they could be a little bit aggrieved by that. There's no way she could have seen in that time. We talked earlier on, didn't we, in the season about VAR coming to the women's game, but they probably would have given it, to be honest. But what irked me was that Berger saved it and then kicked her. So probably it would have been a penalty.
To be fair, I only thought that after I saw the replay, which was slowed down. In real time, it just looked like they collided, both at the ball at the same time. It happens, in contact sport. And actually, I think the fact that Berger was so injured that she was in quite a lot of pain probably saved her, because it didn't look like she kicked. Lauren looked like she had been kicked, how injured she was. Maybe that saved her, and the referee didn't give it. That caused up, a lot of injury time. I think it was 6 minutes in the first half. And in the fourth minute of that, Chelsea, sucker punched City again with the second goal. And it was sort of similar to the first in many ways, that it was counter pressing. Chelsea got on the ball. A lovely G cross to Brighton, who knocked it down into the path of Sam Kerr to score. That is a typical Chelsea goal, isn't it, Dane? The way that they broke quickly, a couple of passes into the box, and then a goal.
Yeah, I didn't think Guru had a great first 25 minutes. Again, this is an attacking player who's being asked to learn a new role, left wing back, and she was very deep. So being so deep, that means she had to show off her defensive side of the game, so it wouldn't have suited her. But this goal was all about Guru Wrighton for me. She pressured down. I think it was Stanway, did she? And got the ball off her. That released G, who did and then obviously Wrighton's after winning the ball, made a lovely run to the back post. G's done a nice little dink to the back post when Wrighton could have you could easily get sucked in there and have a nosebleed and think, I'm close to goal, I'm going to go for goal. But she unselfishly peach of a cushioned header across the box for Kerr to tap in. And again, you just think, that's Kerr's job to tap in, but it's her movement. She's so smart. She could have went a bit too early and been out of position. But it was a great striker's goal. It was a great movement. Again, G, who was a little bit up and down in the first half. That was a great little dink, and it was just so impressive to know that we stepped up a gear. As we said earlier, Man City, had a lot of the ball. The co-commentators and guests in the Sky Sports studio were mentioned dominated, and I thought that was a little bit generous for them. But we stepped up the gear when we want to, intercepted, pressed them, got the ball, goal 2-0, and that's what world-class players do, world-class teams do. And it's harsh if you're a City fan, but make some chances and take them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't think we probably was deserving of a 2-0 lead at half time, but you're not going to turn it down. And what sort of, I wouldn't say surprised me, but what pleased me was the fact that Emma still saw what was wrong and made that halftime change, which was G coming off and Ingle coming in. The midfield that I would have started with gets on in the second half, and we see the impact of that pretty much straight away. And it's good that although we're winning 2-0, we're always looking to improve.
Yes, yeah, I thought our 15 minutes after half time was devastatingly good. Again, going back to the co-commentators, they didn't give us much credit, still didn't claim we played that well, which I give them the first half, but the second half we came out like a different team. We had maybe that goal right on half time helped us, put some energy and energized that whole performance. As if you've ever played sports, all it takes is one little thing to go good, and all of a sudden you've got a spring in your step. And I thought for that 15 minutes we was moving the ball. Wrighton and Cuthbert were a lot further up. We started to see Fran again, who had a quiet first half. And as we said about Sophie Ingle, defensive midfielder, the screening of the defence just for protection to allow Melanie Lopez to play her box-to-box role. Yeah, it was the balance was, nicely settled up. And yeah, I was so impressed with that 15 minutes after the whistle of second half. But it's so easy to say, well, by going in 2-0, that would have had us on a high and obviously City on a low.
Yeah, what I did note down actually after you said that 15 minutes, I think it was about then after the fourth goal that Sky put up a graphic of the possession. It would have been for the last 15 minutes, I guess, and Chelsea had 64% at the start of that second half, and having not had the ball really at all in the first half, it just shows you that once you put in that balance and the teams all in alignment with each other, the amount of impact it had, and it results in 2 goals, both from set pieces. The first one obviously comes out, and then the ball comes back in, and Kirby gets it. It looks like to me that was a cross, Dane. Are you going to give it to Fran as an effort?
Sometimes you drill it and it's a cross shot, and you're trying to aim for that far post or the bottom corner, depending on who you are. This one was more of like a dinked cross shot. I don't know, because obviously the replays, I was trying to watch her eyes, and I could see her eyes when they showed from the camera from behind the goal, and her eyes sort of did look to the corner of the net. It was a hard one. It looked like a cross from when the camera was from behind her body when she crossed or took the shot, but from behind the net, it looked like it was a dink to the far post. Yeah, you know, as a striker, you whether you admit to it or not, it's another thing. But yeah, it's a hard one to see. Either way, you know, by seeing this before, a cross shot puts it in a dangerous area and it either goes in or someone taps it in.
Yeah, I think we should give it to Fran as she meant it. It was a perfectly placed dinked finish into the far corner beyond Man City goalkeeper. If anyone can do it, Fran Kirby can do it. And then, 3 minutes later, Dane Eriksson gets the fourth, a header from within the 6-yard box. It's good that we look very dangerous from set pieces, rather. I've noted that when Nick Newman plays, her presence in the box causes problems. Again, the goalkeeping, you can question Taib again. They didn't command a box. But it was, a perfect player to score for me and Magda Eriksson after her column she wrote for the I newspaper. She's had a lot of kickback in Sweden about some of the comments she's made about the old issue of Qatar and sports washing in general. But good for the captain to get a goal, her first one for a long time.
Yeah, but if we don't have high profile sports stars like Magdalena Eriksson talking, then things get swept under the carpet or washed away. I'm glad she spoke. Regarding the goal, again, a little bit critical of Guru Wrighton in the first half, like I said, but she made the second goal, and this goal again is about her. I think a couple of minutes before she almost put through Sam Kerr, and Sam Kerr had like a snapshot which come off a City defender and is actually well saved by the goalie. This time it was a corner from Guru, beautiful corner into a really dangerous area, and Magdalena was like sandwiched between 3, maybe 4 players, and she was the only one who kept her eye on the ball. Everyone's heads were, like a bobblehead. She kept her eye on the ball, whether it was close or not, and she scored the goal. She was brave enough to do it, and I was so pleased for her, because sometimes with defenders in top clubs, they go unnoticed, or it's just expected. Clean sheets here, and we all know how much defenders and goalies hate letting in goals. But I think she's been brilliant this season, as has Millie. I thought Carter had a good game as well. But yeah, I was really pleased for our captain to score a goal, and it was all about her wanting it more than anyone else. Yeah,
shades of the goal that Miedema scored in the last seconds for Arsenal against Tottenham, where she rose highest against a number of opposition players. But like I said, great for Magda to score. People have been speaking about her role in this team now. There's a back three. She's not as progressive as she was, but like you said, I think she's been fantastic all season, and very, very lucky that she is the captain of the team, as you said, that speaks out and is not afraid to voice her opinion on things. And then that really killed the game as such. I know City had a bit of a 10-minute spell after that, but 4-0, Chelsea are cruising, and Emma Hayes said after the game, we played like champions today in the second half.
Absolutely.
With that,
yeah. No, you can't disagree with that. And I can't remember ever disagreeing with Emma Hayes. She's very smart, very Mourinho-esque. Takes the spotlight away from her, and if she doesn't like the questioning, she will soon change it and highlight something else. I loved how it's not as if she didn't like the questioning in midweek when we beat Servette, but it was going a bit stale, and all of a sudden she just turned. She didn't answer the question that the commentator or journalist asked her. She just went on and started talking. This is all about Maren Milder for me, So she obviously quickly got bored with the conversations. Or, like the brilliant manager she wanted to highlight the fact that this is a big step up for Maren Milder, and we've got her back. Afterwards, she said exactly what we thought, and we're just regular Joes who watch football, but it was amazing second half, and we've got to be given credit. And again, some of the guests in the studio or the co-commentators were like, we never really got out of this gear and that gear, but it's so easy just to say, Man City are missing these players and that players, and I understand that, but you still got to go and beat them. You still got to drag yourself off the floor after a tough, grueling Champions League game away, and find that extra step and that spring and that energy, and win these games. You know, no one in that Man City's first 11 are mugs. You know, they're all good players and still full of internationals. So, you know, I wouldn't say rode their luck in the first half. It took a while for them to get into it, but in the second half they were, you know, different. You know, it was the Chelsea of we've seen of champions last year, the Chelsea that win trophies, and that's what these players can do, and this team can do, and that's what Emma can do with the moving of the tactile analysis and everything. And you know, not surprised, to be honest.
No, I really loved Emma's press conference for the Servette game before it, when they asked what her plan was, and she said, to win the game.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that? Well, we're going to score more goals than the opposition, which I thought was very good, because sometimes managers can get a little bit preachy, a bit like the Manchester United manager who keeps drawing. I want to talk about a substitution, Dane, that happened in the 77th minute, and that was Sakira Musovic coming on for Ann-Katrin Berger. She had been in the wars a bit, hadn't she, old AKB?
Yeah, we've seen it a few times, haven't we? We've seen her go down in the areas over the season she's been with us, and sometimes obviously she recovers. The commentators again tried to claim in the first half when she went down that it was on purpose, so Emma Hayes could do some tactical changing, because a lot of the Chelsea women ran over to Emma Hayes to have a drink and have a chat, and they thought it was very very tactical by Ann-Katrin Berger. And then she obviously got the kick off Kemp. I think their shins both hit each other, and yeah, I don't think she ever recovered from that. And it got to the stage in the game where, you know, it was a dead leg or what, you know, as you must know, Dean, from playing sports, you know, that dead leg does keep on coming back at you, and then eventually does feel like a dead leg. So to be safe to take her off. And you know, we've been sort of talking in the last show with Mia and Jane about Musovic, and you know, when she'll be getting a chance in the league. She probably obviously didn't expect it to be so soon after playing in the Champions League in midweek. But you know, she's a class goalkeeper. She looks confident. I haven't seen enough of her to know if the future of number one. You know, Mia Eriksson, a regular guest, would know more than me about that, but I haven't seen anything that is going to worry me so far. But she needs to be tested. She needs to be put in the big games, and you know, whether you're 4-0 up, you've still got to come. You've still got to catch the crosses. You've still got to organise the defence. You know, it's so it was a good 20 minutes to come into the game, yes, but still against, you know, players that, you know, they didn't want to hide. And as I said, you know, the commentators were trying to urge City on to get a goal, and it would be good for their confidence. But, you know, she didn't let one. She come on and got a clean sheet, whether it be 20 minutes or 90 minutes.
Yeah, so Kira Musovic does not concede goals. That we know for sure. And I think, you know, Chelsea helped sort of kill the game off with the subs. They brought on Neve Charles and Drew Spence for Frank Irving, Guru Wrighton. Sam Kerr had already come off before this anyway for Bethany England. And I think, you know, that for me, Dane, is the real strength in depth, because people talk about there's not enough you know, depth to change the 11 sort of thing. They don't play well when they make so many changes. I think that's the case for every team. I think the real test is in games like this, you're able to bring on players like Neve Charles, Drew Spence, and rest your big players when the game's won. And, you know, when she talks about being champions, Emma Hayes, I think this is what she means. Yeah,
big squad, you know, big squad, without repeating myself, you know. I think 19, 20, 21 players who can play in that first 11 quite comfortably. I felt sorry for Bethany England, because as she comes on, she probably feel quite confident she might get a chance, might get a goal. And she did get a chance, but then she sees attacking players who are likely to give her ammunition, like Wrighton and Kirby, go off. Drew Spence, you know, again, you know, she played in the week. She played good in the week, and she, you know, she's a very good defensive player. Although she likes attacking, likes making runs into the box. Neve Charles, again, another one who's been asked to sort of learn a new position. She came on a bit quiet for her, and you know, obviously going back to Man City making substitutions. We knew the game was over when they took Lauren Hempoff, because just to save her, they'd already 4-0. They weren't coming back. But going back to our big squad, yeah, I was kind of hoping that I thought Maren Milder could come on for 5-10 minutes, but you know, you can't make decisions on your heart in football. It's got to be your mind. And if she doesn't think she's ready, because did we have one? Did we have one sub left? Was that correct, or had we used all five? I don't know.
The 5 were used.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought they might have brought her on, but then again, you know, you've got to be fair to Drew Spence, who you know has done well this season, and you know, why should Maren just step above her? It's not, you know, she's got to earn that right again. We all know how brilliant Maren Milder is, but you know, it's not about heart; it's about the mind. And she knew Drew deserved to come on, you know, to just suck up the rest of the life out of that game.
Yeah, I think if you actually look at the sub, 10 minutes left, it's Frank Obi that comes off, and it just puts another player into that midfield area.
Yeah,
sort of kills that last 10 minutes. That City might have had a go if they wanted to, but I don't think they really did. So the last bit I want to talk about, Dane, is the battle between Lauren Hemp and Erin Cuthbert, because in the FA Cup game, he spoke lots about Jess Carter on that right-hand side. I think she got roasted. Erin, I thought, was much, much stronger today against her, and Emma Hayes did say after the game, I think that's the quietest game I've ever seen Lauren Hemp have. And having said that, she did still have chances, Lauren Hemp. She did beat Erin on a couple of occasions. I thought the back three was a bit closer together today than they were in the FA Cup game. I thought Millie covered a lot better with Jess on the right-hand side. But what did you make of Erin's performance overall? She did very well, in my opinion.
Yeah, see, you've got to give her so much praise, because you know she's been playing a lot further forward in recent weeks, scoring goals, assisting. I mean, she's been asked to do a job against one of the best players in the league. You know, I've been praising obviously Lauren Hemp a lot recently, and you know, I shouldn't be. Well, you know, I tried to be fair, but she did have a fairly quiet game. But she's always going to have moments, because she's got those qualities about her. And a couple of times, Erin was out of position, and Lauren got in behind. Didn't really produce any crosses. Didn't really have a chance. I think in the second half actually, but it was going wide, and Berger. She had a shot on Berger. We still put it around the post. But yeah, I think Erin did a good job. I thought she was very deep in the first half. Like I said, her and Wright, and maybe that was the plan. But you've got to remember as well, it's so easy to compare Lauren against Erin going forward. But what about when Erin was going forward? You know, Lauren wasn't much to keep up with her, and Erin got in some really good positions in that second half. So her attacking display, you would say, was better than Lauren's.
Real fans, real opinions.
I'm Jason Cundy, and you're listening to the Chelsea Football Fancast. Up the Chelsea!
Footballfancast.com.
Yeah, and obviously Cuthbert still did get 2 assists today. Obviously Lauren Hunt doesn't get any. And Brighton obviously with the assist for Sam Kerr. So, you know, she's producing not just defensively but offensively as well. For me, she's been one of the players of the season so far. And I'm sure when we perhaps sit down during the international break to discuss the season so far, she's going to be one of the key talking points of that game. And actually, I don't know if this is on social media yet, but she's actually having a scan, Jane told us. She said to him after the game, she come off injured, just having a scan. So we'll see how that affects her. I mean, luckily there's only Servette midweek, and then I believe it's Burnham City on Sunday the 21st at Kings Meadow. So not a huge game coming up for us. So if she needs a rest, now's the time for it. The other unused subs today, Baron Miadris mentioned, Lauren James, Jonna Anderson, and Georgia Fox. The stats, Chelsea had 45% possession, 13 shots, 6 on target, 4 corners and 3 fouls, to Manchester City having 55% possession, 11 shots, 6 on targets, 7 corners and 6 fouls. So, Dane, it was a pretty close game stats-wise. The eye test, probably first half was City, second half was Chelsea's. And we were just more clinical, and as Emma said, played like champions.
Yeah, again, we kept, England's number one striker very quiet again, and they were debating on the TV whether it's the service, whether it's the lack of the right or left backs, whether it's Lauren or Stanway or Caroline Weir, how to get her into the game. But, again, you've got to praise our defence for keeping her quiet. We said the first half was full of Man City huffing and puffing. They had plans, they had traps, but they didn't then progress the play into dangerous areas. As you said, if we without our Chelsea bias glasses on another game, they could have got that penalty, and that if they would have scored it, that could have been 1-1. Swings and roundabouts in football, but I think overall, you've got to look at all the avenues, and as I said, Champions League in the week, we would have been tired. Took us a while to get into the game, but like champions, we took advantage of situations and mistakes, and and in the second half, we came out like champions and showed what we can do. Overall, you've got to be happy with that. As I said earlier, there's still a good team. There's still good players in that Man City side, even though they are missing some quality as well. But that's not our problem, is it? The team's put out. We've got to go there. We've got to do our job. As Emma said in midweek against Seville, score more goals than them. And that's what we did. So brilliant for us and tough luck for them.
Yeah, and I suppose a bit of pressure on Chelsea as well, given that Arsenal had drawn the game to Tottenham the day before, because now obviously we're a point behind Arsenal on the table. They've still got to come to Kings Meadow, so technically the title is in our hands now because we can directly affect where it goes. If both teams win all their games, and if Chelsea beat Arsenal then in that game between them, the title goes to Chelsea. So there was that pressure on them as well. I know City have got problems. Like you said, they've still got international players. I thought it was quite funny that the Sky commentators kept mentioning every single player that had the ball for City, what international team they played for. They got obviously the Swedish midfielder. They said she won silver medal at the Olympics. Just making the point that they were good players in that City team. And Gareth Taylor, the Chelsea Women's Sports Group think he's going to get sacked in the morning. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, they mentioned, didn't they? They mentioned he mentioned the injuries they in the preview of the game, and Lauren Hemp said no, it's not about the injuries. You've still got quality out here. You can't make injuries as an excuse. So when you start saying different things to your manager, that's when there's a little bit of a ripple. And you wonder, how long is he going to be in the job? Going back to Arsenal, I was just quite happy to see their manager a little bit despondent after the game and not as energetic as he has been all season. My first sight of the manager was him getting a bit excited when they beat us 3-2 the first game of the season. He was very jumpy on the sideline, seemed to have a lot to say, and I had to actually check that it was not a cup final, and it was, this was the first game of the season. So it was nice to see him a little bit within himself on Saturday, and the bit I saw, Tottenham was organised and did really well, and Arsenal did look surprised that they couldn't get the win, which it's nice to knock them back down to size for a little while. But as you said, absolutely, to have them at home, to have played Man City, Man United and Arsenal away now, and we're still not even, are we in the middle of the season, halfway through the season? But either way, to how I'm really looking forward to Arsenal at home, and Kings Meadow will be rocking for that one.
Yeah, I think we're 7 games into the season now.
Oh yeah. So
not even halfway yet. And we played, obviously, as you said, the 3 sort of big teams, quote unquote, away from home. So the destiny of this title is in Chelsea's hands, and Hayes and his squad feeling pretty confident that it's going to go the right way now. And like you said, Arsenal won their league back in whenever the season started, September, was it? I think we prefer to win it in May. So that's that. I did ask the people of Discord to choose a player of the match, and they did a Dane Whittle on me and couldn't pick. So they're giving it to the whole team, Dane. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Agreed to disagree. As I said, it's not easy coming off Champions League games. It's not that I've got experience of that. This is me watching it, and then pulling in a performance, away in Europe, then away in the league. It is quite hard and it's quite harsh. I'm just impressed with Guru and Aaron, and whoever's trying to play this, because we haven't got a natural left wing back or right wing back. So to see them so deep and being very defensive in the first half, but then to them both in the second half step up and show their attacking qualities, it'd be hard to pick one of them to who I would have gone with for the man of the match. And again, Sam Kerr, it's so much unselfish running, which you don't see. And just because she's not getting the ball, it doesn't mean that she's not, dragging defenders wide and just making them make decisions to make. And sometimes, when you've played football, you tend to watch the position you played. And when I used to play as a forward, I like to watch the forwards. And as I said, Sam Kerr's unselfish running she makes some amazing runs. In the show in midweek, I sort of said she was similar to Crespo, Hernan Crespo, the men's player, who was a world-class striker, but his stats would make people think that he was just average at Chelsea, but still to this day was the best movement I've ever seen as a forward. And Sam Kerr's, if you get a chance to go down to it and watch the game at Kings Meadow or wherever, sometimes just watch Sam Kerr for 5-10 minutes. You might not get the ball, but her movement and the decisions she makes and keeps all the defenders trying to mark her guessing, is truly world class.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully a couple more years of that at Kings Meadow for you to get down there and watch it live. So the other results from the WSL on Women's Football Weekend: Tottenham 1-1 with Arsenal, who mentioned. Everton drew 1-1 with Manchester United earlier today. Brighton beat Leicester 1-0. Birmingham City lost 1-0 to Aston Villa in the Midland Derby. West Ham dropped a 2-goal lead to drew 2-2 with Reading, and obviously Chelsea winning 4-0 away at Manchester City. That leaves the league table looking like this: Arsenal in first on 19 points, Chelsea second on 18 points, Hope Pals Brighton Hove Albion third on 15 points, Tottenham in fourth on 14 points, fifth for Manchester United on 12 points, sixth for Aston Villa on 10 points, West Ham ninth on 7th on 9 points, Reading 8th on 7 points, Manchester City 9th on 7 points, Everton 10th on 7 points, Birmingham City 11th on 1 point, and Leicester City still no points in 12th. So the table's starting to take a little bit of shape, but perhaps not how we expected it to look, especially those 3 teams on 7 points towards the end of the table. 2 of those we definitely didn't expect to be there. And the 2 in third and fourth, I don't think we expected to be there either, but here we are. Day before we go, Thursday evening, Chelsea Champions League back in action again. Servette come to town. Obviously, we just beat them 7-0 last week. They're part-time, we're full-time. Are you expecting just to change everybody or just leave the couple of players like she did in the away game, just get it done?
I still expect her to be professional. We saw in midweek Wolfsburg drawing, which surprised us to an extent, and then allowed us to go back to the top of the group. So she'll know that in European football, I know Servette wasn't particularly great in that first leg, but we've still got to put them away. I'd still expect enough changes to keep some players fresh, but enough firepower in there as well to put these chances away. Was it 20 odd minutes? The game was nearly over in midweek. So yeah, she'll be professional. She obviously, we can never tell Emma what to do or try and second guess her, but yeah, she'll know that we've got to get the job done still. And like midweek, enough players rested, but enough also firepower to take advantage and put this game hopefully away early again.
Yeah, assume that she wants to, like the first leg, win the game in 25 minutes. And then you can look at players like Lauren James to come on. I watched her for the academy side against the Armed Forces for the Remembrance Day game on last Thursday. And it's hard to judge her because she was playing against amateurs, and you could tell that because she was sort of toying with them. But stepping closer to fitness, and this could be an opportunity for her.
What position did she play?
Wherever she wanted to, really.
So she drifted, and
she had her name printed on the shirt. and she was number 19. There was another number 19 that wasn't her, didn't have the name on the shirt. It was just a bit like she was odd in that team. And when she got the ball and wanted to do stuff, she did. And when she didn't, she just passed it. And I think Jane said about her effort, and I think it looked a bit like she was being lazy, but the game was beneath her. And it was more about fitness and her showing that she could score against an Army side, really. So, but like you said, if we win this game early, 25 minutes, half time, she could get 45 on the pitch.
We'll know, won't we, before the game, because Emma has literally been telling us that she's not going to play. She keeps on saying it. No, we won't see her today. No, we're not see her today. So if she doesn't say that on, we might get a chance to see her for a half an hour. Maybe Marion again, get another. Maybe Marion might even start. A good 45 minutes under her belt. But yeah, it's exciting times with Lauren James, and it is sometimes hard to play against weakened teams, and you feel better playing against stronger teams, which you can test yourself. But hopefully we'll see her soon in the first team and with some valuable minutes.
Yeah, so I'll predict the team because I like doing it. It's my fun thing to do. Muzovic, Carter, Mielda, Anderson as a back three, Charles, Spence, G and Fox as a midfield four, and then Frank Kirby behind England and Kerr. So 3-4-1-2. Mielda getting her first start. G coming back in after playing 45. 2 new wing backs. We still got Kirby and Kerr in England to score the goals. Should do it, and then perhaps look at Lauren James for 45 minutes in the second half.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, who did you have at right wing back? Neve Charles.
Neves at right wing back. Georgia Fox at left wing back.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know, but yeah, Mielda, again.
That's the question mark. But I think you need to try and rest Millie Bright and Magda Eriksson now.
Yeah.
Nguyen's not been fit now; she's been injured, so I can't see her playing.
Do we know? Do we know how long she'll be out, Nguyen? No, we don't know.
Like most things with Chelsea women, we know nothing.
Oh yeah, Millie does need a rest. She tends to be the one who plays just a little bit more than Eriksson. They're both very similar, usually always in there. But you're absolutely right. You can, again, you've still got Kirby and Kerr, and I wonder if Guru will play because she took her off early. When you're quite comfortable in a game, are you thinking about the next game? Some managers will say no, it's all about this game. Yeah, I like that team. I think that's strong enough. Again, Sophie, like G, only played 45 minutes, so would both be fresh. Carter, once again, has to learn this position if she's going to be expected on and called on a lot this season. Maybe Melder on the right of the three and Carter in the middle, so you're not moving Carter too much and macking up the imbalance. So yeah, I like the look at that team.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, Thursday tickets still available from chelseafc.com. So if you can get down to Kingsmeadow, I believe it's an 8 p.m. kickoff, so a nice late one on a Thursday evening. The team would appreciate the support, I'm sure. That's going to wrap us up for this episode. We'll be back to review Servette and preview Birmingham City, hopefully on Friday, to be confirmed. In the meantime, you can check us out on Patreon, where we post this podcast early, and we also do things like 5 things we learned from the game, which I'll be doing tonight or tomorrow at some point, publishing that there. You can also contact us there pretty easy as well. Discord is the one you should be joining, though, if you want to talk during the game without the whole Twitter world getting involved. Lots of people in there for this game again, so thank you to those. Social media, Instagram at Went to Mo Kingsmeadow, Twitter at Mo Kingsmeadow. I'm at D Mears and Dane is at DWit9. You've got Jane at Jane Chapel X as well. She's put some pictures up on there of her trip today.
And her water bottle.
Yeah, hot water bottle ready there. Sure, she's enjoying the passenger seat on the way home. But Dane, again, lovely to talk about Chelsea beat Man City, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. It is nice. As I said, it was lot of people was worried after that first game of the season, that defeat to Arsenal, but we could all see that, you know, the first team or a lot of the squad had only had a week or two training together. And we've started, you know, obviously Emma's really wants to stick with this position, the 3-4-3, you know, the formation. And we're starting to see all the fruits of that recently. And players still got to learn positions, but, you know, as you rightly said earlier, this season is in our hands at the moment. You know, you're not going to win leagues unless you win. And if we win all our games, we're going to win this league. So.
Absolutely. That's what we look forward to. And I'm sure Emma's going to drill that into the team at training tomorrow morning. I almost forgot that we're not going to record another episode till after the 18th of November, which is the 1 year birthday anniversary of this podcast. So just a big thank you to everyone that's listened, that shared the podcast, that's been on the show. We've had lots of guests that's emailed us, that's given their opinion, that's joined Discord, especially those that are on Patreon that help support what we do. I mean, we've had over 100,000 downloads across the episodes that we've done, which blows my tiny little mind. You know, we've now got Dane on board as well. We continue to grow. We've got people at matches, which is unique. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to those that have supported us and helped us grow. And we're going to be doing some stuff on the day, some giveaways, some extra sort of videos, hopefully, and special celebrations. And we're going to try and get some follow backs from some players as a birthday present. But yeah, Dane, any thoughts on a 1 year anniversary or birthday? I'm going to call it a birthday.
Yeah, no, it's a birthday. Yeah, and you know, onwards and upwards. You know, when we said you was first doing this, we've become fairly friendly, and it was always encouraging to do. I didn't know a lot of women's podcasts out there covering the Chelsea game. I think a few across the pond in America, and other men's podcasts have now taken on the role of wanting to talk about women's. No, it's always been an honour to come in and get involved. I've always watched women's football, and it was nice now that I get to watch more. I'm learning every time. As I said, it's nice to spend time with you again. You know, very talented man you are. Again, Jane, you know, who I call our little secret weapon. You know, very loyal supporter, goes to all the games. We have a good fan base. We have good guests. You know, people come on. You know, they interact with us. I've met people like Mia Eriksson, you know, through this, you know, who's an amazing talent as well. And it's just lovely. It's got a nice feel to it, and I really enjoy it, and I don't see it as a burden. And sometimes, you know, I get a bit tongue-tied or tongue-twisted from just the excitement of trying to get everything out of my brain. But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it, and hopefully everyone enjoys it. And, you know, we're always open to feedback, you know, good and bad. And yeah, this is exciting times for us as a little podcast, you know, 1 year in, and exciting times watching this team as well. So yeah, we've got some things to announce and to do, and obviously Dean's sorting all that out. So hopefully it'll be an exciting time for us with our regular and loyal listeners.
Yeah, looking forward to the celebration. I'd never really followed the women's team before this podcast, and a year ago today I text Jane asking if there was any podcast that she listened to, because she went to the games before me, and she said no, and I said let's do one. 4 days later we started, and a year on, you know, here we are with, you know, stupid amount of downloads that we shouldn't have, and you know, Dane on board who's slotted in perfectly and allows us to cover this team more often, because, you know, I have a new baby, Jane has work, Dane obviously has his own stuff as well, so we work it out between the three of us that we can get on when the games are on. So it's just fantastic, and the community that we've created and that we've got is fantastic. And, you know, I love this team very, very much, more so than the men's team, I think now. I think so.
I was thinking earlier.
I think I get more joy watching the women's team than I do the men's team.
I was thinking and it's a big if I treat myself to a shirt next year, wouldn't it be nice to get you know, like one of your favourite women's players on the back for once? You know, I haven't got a men's shirt with a men's player on the back, but I might be tempted to get a shirt next year and Mjolder on the back, or Sam Kerr or something, or even a new sign-in. So I might break a habit next season.
I did
It's
say
a different
back in the
feel, isn't
day,
it?
yeah, when we started the YouTube videos, I'd get Cuthbert on the back when we got 100 subscribers, and we just haven't bothered with YouTube. We just haven't got the time. So I know we've got 100 subscribers there, but I'm fancying a Jessie Fleming shirt now. She started storing.
Oh yes, yeah, that is a good
She's
one.
my
You better
favourite
probably
player
get one
now.
for a good price now. All these sales around Christmas and with Black Friday and all that, and so you could get one for a decent price.
Yeah, let's see. Black Friday, of course. They mentioned feedback, good feedback to @DMears bad to @DWit9. Just make sure you put that to the right appropriate department of the podcast. I only take praise and flattery. Criticism is reserved for the other members of the show because I'm in charge. And that's that. Yeah, let's go then. A pleasure as always. Join us next time for more coverage of this amazing team. I've been Dean Mears, he's been Dane Whittle, we've been Went to Mo Kings Motto. This is episode 47, 48, one of those now, getting close to 50. It's been fun. But until next time, Just fans, from Kings Meadow to Wembley, keep the blue flag flying.